Welcome to flexprep.org. The Today we're gonna discuss about the algebra section of GRE examination. The first topic we're gonna discuss about the PEMDAS. Let's just start with an example. Let's say we have a equation for example. We have the expression like this: 6 minus 5 times 3 cubed divided by 7 parenthesis 7 minus 2. Now the question is how we solve this expression. So here we have to follow the rule P E M D A S rule. Here P signifies for parenthesis, E for exponents or roots, M for multiplication or division, D for division, A for addition, and S for subtraction. Now look at this. This is a subtraction symbol, and here subtraction symbol is on the last. We have division, we have parenthesis, we have multiplication, we have division, we have parenthesis, and we have subtraction, and also we have exponent. Exponents and roots will be at the, like, we can replace each other. Now let's write this expression again. 6 minus 5 times 3 cubed divided by 7 minus 2 parenthesis. In PEMDAS we see that we have to start with P. P means parenthesis. So the first thing we have to do is to simplify whatever is inside the parenthesis. So we know 7 minus 2 is 5. So let's write 5. Then comes the E, exponent. So we have one exponent here. It's 3 cubed. 3 cubed is 27 times 5 minus 6, right? Now look at here, the next operation is multiplication and the next is division. Actually you can switch one another. You can do the division first then multiplication, or multiplication first then division. It doesn't matter, but whoever comes first, we can do them first. Now here we have 5 times 27 divided by 5. Now as you can see that since multiplication and division has the same priority, we can cancel this two, and that leaves us 6 minus 27, and the subtraction comes to the end, so we have negative we have negative 21. That's the result. To clarify this again, let's begin with, let's just start another example, maybe much simpler. Let's say we have an example like 3 plus 2 times 3 minus 6. So this is a pretty straightforward example of simplifying expression. Now first 3, then we can see 2 times 3, so it's a multiplication, as you remember PEMDAS. So here multiplication is the highest priority, so 2 times 3 is 6 minus 6. Now look at what is going on. 6 minus 6 is equals 0, so it's gone, so answer is 3. So that's how it works. Let's look at another example. This is example number 2. Now let's have example number 3. Let's say we have 4 times square root of 25 times 5 plus 1. Now how do we simplify this? As you know that this is multiplication and this is multiplication, but before that we have a square root. So as you remember, P E M, so M comes after E, so E signifies equation, exponent or roots. So 4 times the square root of 25 is 5 times 5 plus 1. Now we can see that addition comes after multiplication, so we have to multiply all these numbers. So 5 times 5 is 25 times 4 times 25 is 100, then comes 1. So 100 plus 1 is equals 1. That's how we solve the expressions. We simplify the expressions. Now let's go a little deeper, where the expressions or equations that involves with variables. Let's take an example. 5 times x minus 1 whole square minus 30 equals 10. So we have this equation. Now the question is, what is x? At this point we don't know. So when there is the problem that is related to variables, then what we have to do is we have to isolate the variable. That's the goal, and we'll find the solution like that. Now as you remember, so if we have an equation, to simplify an equation we have to isolate everything from x. So how can we do that? Now take a look at here. We have negative 30. So if we add 30 here, then add 30 here, then the equation remains valid. So what do we have then? 5x minus 1, 30 gone, whole squared equals 30 plus 10 is 40. Right? Now we have x minus 1. Okay. Now you can see 5 and 40 each other, so we can actually divide both sides by 5, and that gives us 1 this side and 8 the other side. So x minus 1 whole squared equals 8. Now we have to simplify this term, but how can you do that? As you can see, this is a second degree equation. So the only way we can do is we can take square root on both sides of the equation. So this example is complicated, but we can still find out what is the answer. So a square root of x minus 1 is actually x minus absolute value of x minus 1 equals square root of 8 is square root of 8, and then absolute value means this means x minus 1 equals square root of 8, or x minus 1 equals negative square root of x 8. So we can get x equals square root of 8 plus 1, or x equals 1 minus the square root of 8. So that's the answer. That's how we simplify equations. Now take a simpler example than this one. Let's say we have an equation which is three x minus 2 divided by 2, which is equal, let's say, 6. So what you have to do is we have to find out what is x equals to, I mean this. To find out what you have to do to cancel, we have to cancel this. How can we do that? We can multiply both sides of the equation by 2. So what we got is this 2 and this 2 gone. So you got 3x minus 2, and 6 times 2 is 12. Then we can add 2 to eliminate 2 from left side. Then we got 3x equals 14. Now to eliminate x at 3, we have to divide both sides of the equation with 3. So that way 3 cancels, x equals 14 over 3. That is how the equation works. So the next type is sometimes the equations are given in a little bit tricky way. There is questions that deal with two different variables, and they ask for the value of a single variable. Let's say we have a system of equations which is equals 3x plus y equals 5, and let's say we have y equals x minus 5. Now the question asks, what is y equals to? Now as you can see, y equals x minus 5, we have two different equations. So what you have to do is, this is equation number 1 and this is equation number 2. So what you're gonna do, we're gonna replace equation number 2 in equation number 1. So by that I mean 3x plus, instead of y here, we're gonna write x minus 5, x minus 5, which is equals, I'm writing this one, okay, which is equals 5. Now look, we are getting the value of x but not the value of y. But if we know what is the value of x, we'll be easily will be able to calculate the value of y easily. Now we have 5 on both sides, so what about add 5 on both sides? So that way this side is gone, and 3x plus x equals 4x, and 5 plus 5 equals 10, and that way you get x equals, so divide both sides again by 4, you get x equals 2, 5 over 2. Now since x equals 5 over 2, so replace this back into equation number 1 or 2, either of them it will work, but let's plug it to equation number 2, where you can see that y equals, we have x minus 5, right? But x here, as you can see, x here is equals 5 over 2, so replace 5 over 2 here minus 5. Now you have to do something here. So as we know, the common denominator is 2, so 5 minus 2 times 5 is 10, so that way we get 8 equals y equals negative 5 over 2. That is interesting, isn't it? So that's how we simplify system of equations. Then in the equation part, there is one more thing we have to know, that sometimes equations or expressions are written a little bit tricky way. By that, what I mean is, let's take an example. So we have let's say we have an expression something like this: y plus 4 divided by 4 minus 2y minus 6 equals, again let's say 3. So now how do you simplify? Our task is to simplify, not to get any any answer, but obviously the simplification would be the answer. So as you can see, we have a negative symbol here and a negative symbol there, or whatever is the symbol. So when the expressions are given like this format, we have to think the same expression like this: y plus 4 divided by 4 minus, okay, so you have to imagine a parenthesis on the top of the expression in the numerator of the expression. So assume whatever number of expressions are there, you have to just assume a parenthesis. So whenever we see that fraction bars are given like that, we have to pretend that there exists a parenthesis on the numerator of the equation. Now if so, then the next line of this expression would be y. Okay, now what is the common denominator? 4 times 3 is equals 12, right? So as you know that 4 goes 3 times in 12, so we have to multiply this expression with this term with 3, So y plus 4, we have a parenthesis here, and 3 goes 4 times with 12, so we have to multiply 4 by 2y minus 6. Now it's a simple multiplication right now. 3 multiply term by term, so we have 3y, and 3 times 4 equals 12, minus, now look at what is the impact. 4 times 2 is 8, so we have negative 8y. Now this negative and this negative, if you multiply negative by negative, we get a positive symbol, positive sign. Then 4 times 6 equals 24. That leaves us like this. So once you know this, then the next line would be, we have 3y minus 8y, so obviously that would be negative 5y. And then 12 plus 24 is 36 divided by 12. So this is the solution, simplified solution of the expression above. So that's all about it today. This is for the algebra section of the GRE, and this is the first class. So what you got is, we have to, the takeaways are, number one is, we have to remember, in order to simplify an expression, we have to think parentheses, exponents or roots, multiplication, division, addition and subtraction. Number two is isolate variable in order to solve for x. Number three is, when you have fraction bar, something like this, then we have to pretend that there is a parenthesis exist in the numerator of the expression. So try more examples and master the topic. There will be some questions that are related, that will be related to this concept, and the final one, I guess, that is equations related to two variables. Then solve for x and y. You have to know all these 4 times, and these are very important topic. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you very much.